I don't think I was placed in this world by Allah just to hit tennis balls and win tennis matches. I think that our purpose for things is much larger. And as I grow older, I believe that more and more.
Yeah.
And there is a reason that I became who I am. There is a reason I got success. There is a reason that I was placed in this position that is so privileged. There's not many people who get to say and be in the position that I'm in. And I do feel that we have so much more to give back than just to win tennis matches.
Good morning, Ms. Sania Mirza, former World One champion. We're very happy to have you here with us on this podcast of the Sharjah Entrepreneurship Shara Festival. We are curious to know more about you, to ask you some questions and make this conversation a very friendly and easy conversation. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Ms. Sania, as an empowering woman athlete, tell us briefly about your passion in tennis, and when did you start your journey?
Well, I started my journey when I was 6 years old. It was a journey like any other, actually. It was in my summer holidays. My parents thought, okay, we'll make our child play some sport. And I used to go play tennis, swim, and skate. And after some time, the coach called my parents and said, after like about a month and a half, and said, I've never seen somebody play tennis like this at 6 years old. And that's when I think my parents were like, okay, but they still didn't take it seriously because I was too young. And then things kept happening. And to be very honest, it was a dream that we saw as a family to one day play on the best courts of the world and the biggest stadiums of the world. And alhamdulillah, we were able to achieve that.
When you started your journey in tennis, so I believe you were doing different sports, and then you got tennis as a hobby and the sport to continue with. Who was your role model in this domain?
Well, when I was growing up, my role model was Steffi Graf. And she still is, I think. And I think our generation, most people looked up to her. She was somebody that was, for me, in my eyes, she was perfect. She was such an amazing tennis player. I loved, she was so calm and she was so collected all the time, always looked super focused. And she's somebody that I looked up to growing up.
Ms. Sania, when you see a role model in front of you while growing, do you feel like you take this skills from the role model while growing in the sport?
I would like to believe so. I think that I don't think that you completely take every single skill, but I do think that you try to emulate them, you try to be like them in some ways, and you try to play like them in my case. And I think my forehand is something that I try to make like Steffi Graf's, and I think it's more... Yeah, I don't know, but people said it was good. So, but I think that it was more about not being completely like them, but just trying to take the best out of that role model and what I thought. And I think it's very subconscious. It's not something that you're doing consciously. You look up to a person and then you automatically start to walk like them, or you can see some people, they play like their role models. Exactly. True. Everything is the same. So I think it's a very subconscious thing.
When you were on the court, every time you were there, what was the first thing comes in your mind?
I think it changed over time. I think the first thing, because I think the way that I saw tennis changed, the way that I saw competition changed. But I think the first thing that was mostly used to come to me was, oh my God, you're living your dream.
Amazing.
And I think that is something that we always have to do, is really believe and also remember that no matter what success you're having or failures you're having, you're still living part of the dream. It's something that you dreamed of. I may go out on center court and lose, but I dreamed one day of being on center court, and I have to remember that.
Amazing.
So I think being grateful a little bit, maybe if you can call it that.
Have you ever expected at a younger age that you will be hitting more than 5 to 10 Grand Slams?
No, I mean, I think that I was able to go much beyond the dreams that we were able to see. As a young girl, you think and you dream, okay, but I mean, there's very few people who get to achieve that.
Definitely.
So, Alhamdulillah, and as a family, we saw so many dreams and we were able to achieve more than what we saw, and Allah has been grateful.
Alhamdulillah. Ms. Sania, we say that challenges are the reason of us shining. So what were some of the challenges and obstacles you faced as an athlete at your earlier age?
So many. I mean, just finding coaching, finding proper tennis courts, because when we started playing tennis, there was not many people who used to play tennis, especially
True.
young girls. So finding people to practice with, trying to find the right tournaments to play, to understand, to find the right help, the coaching, the fitness trainers, to try to find right guidance. So many things. I mean, financial problems, because at the end of the day, I think tennis is a very expensive sport when you want to be
Definitely.
professional.
Definitely.
And if you don't have a system that is attached to it, which we didn't at that point, it was very difficult for a middle class family to suddenly say we want to spend so much money in an investment we don't know is going to come back ever.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's and that's why I keep saying we didn't do it for the money, we did it for the love. Because if we did it for the money, no smart businessman will invest in a return that they are not sure of,
100%.
So I think that's why you have to, and that's why I keep saying you always have to remember why you started. So the challenges continued, and knowing no path. There was no path that you could follow. You had to create your own path, really learn from your own mistakes. And it's not like everything was perfect. You also, we also made so many mistakes and
Definitely.
then learned from them and tried to rectify them.
But you achieved a lot out of your mistakes, Ms. Sania. Now, speaking about challenges and obstacles, you were a single player and you got a wrist injury, but that doesn't mean you quit the game. You shifted to doubles and you are a star as well, and you got the #1 in different Grand Slams. So what made you feel that?
Well, I played singles I turned professional in 2003. I played singles professionally till 2012 almost. And at the end of 11, I kind of knew that, I was not able to work towards being the best version of myself in singles. And I thought, what, like either I have to quit, or I give myself one more year and then I will get injured again, or I can try to win Grand Slams in something and in one category instead of playing both. And that's how it was one of the hardest decisions at that point, because at that point, you still know you have the ability to do really well, but your body is not allowing you to. And then and then that's how that decision was made. In hindsight, like when I think about it now, it was obviously a great decision.
Definitely.
Because but at that point it was a very hard decision, and for me, quitting at that point was not something that I wanted to do. I still felt and believed that I had a lot more success left in me. I had Grand Slams left in me, and that I had wins left in me, and obviously that was the right thing at that point.
From winning, you haven't ever stopped. You're still winning a lot, even when we're doing different businesses after retirement. So what does it mean to you to continue being in the business field and merging it between sports and business?
I think that, I truly believe that, and I know this sounds very, very deep and serious, but I do believe that we are not here merely I don't think I was placed in this world by Allah just to hit tennis balls and win tennis matches. I think that our purpose for things is much larger. And as I grow older, I believe that more and more.
Yeah.
And there is a reason that I became who I am. There is a reason I got success. There is a reason that I was placed in this position that is so privileged. There's not many people who get to say and be in the position that I'm in. And I do feel that we have so much more to give back than just to win tennis matches.
True.
And everything that I do now, even if it's a business and as an entrepreneur, it is involving things that I love and to be able to give back in some way. So whether it's through tennis academies, whether it's through sport, whether it's through having tournaments for the younger generation in the UAE and in India to be able to succeed and try to believe in themselves and provide them a platform.
True.
Or, I have a small venture which is like a kids play area, which provides a holistic learning space for children, for example. That for me is very important because I feel I'm providing something for children because I have a son and I know how important it is. So everything that I try to take up, I try to find a reason and meaning to it.
Definitely.
I'm not saying every single thing, but a lot of the things. So yeah, that is my concept.
Yeah.
And the way that I really look at it, and the financial part of it and the money part of it is again a byproduct of what I'm trying to do,
Definitely.
because we all know that in academies the money is not large. It's not about the money, it's about creating a legacy. It's about
You're at the
creating-
industry and you know it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's not like, oh my God, you will come out of and make a tennis academy and make millions. It's not about that. It's about leaving a legacy. It's about creating and giving a platform to the next generation to be able to do something. And for me, it's important to be a part of that, even if it's a small part.
So you believe in impact.
Yes, very much. I think that's why I said I don't think that the position that you're in or I'm in, we are all here for different purposes. And I don't think that the purpose is very small or as superficial as to come and play tennis or to just be in a federation.
Yes.
I don't think it's as small as that. I think that we are all here for a bigger impact in life.
Definitely.
And I think that the bigger the position that our God puts us in, the more responsibility on you to make that impact.
You're very right, absolutely. Ms. Sania, speaking of the business and growing academies, either in the UAE or in India, growing with a business plan. Before you mentioned earlier that you had difficulties in finding the right coaches and the right team to support the athletes, let's say. Is it still the same, or it gets better, or do you have another insight about it?
I think it's better. I can't say it's the best, but I think it's better. I think that in this part of the world, I think we still have some ways to go.
Yes.
But I definitely think if you ask me from 30 years ago to today, yes, it is a lot better. Especially I can say from my own home country, in India, but today outside of a few cricketers, the biggest superstars in sport are women. The Olympic medals, the medals in Asian Youth, they come more from women.
True.
So that shows you that the opportunity is better. That shows you that the interest is more. That shows you that there are more girls playing sport,
Amazing.
different sports. So I would like to see the same thing happen here as well, because this is my second home and it would be nice to see. And here we have already, we are ahead of the race. We already have Dubai duty free, for
True.
example. In India, we don't have that. We don't have such a big tournament that has been running for over 20 years. We don't have that. So we are already ahead of the race. If there's a start line, we are already starting from the front. Where we have to change is in our young kids wanting to take up sport as a profession, wanting to play sport, in understanding that playing sport is not just about going and playing a game, but it's also about learning so much. And then if whoever's talented, we together who are involved in tennis can help them take those next steps.
Amazing. So, Ms. Sania, as an entrepreneur, handling different academies, different programs, implementing different programs, being creative with your programs and making people or kids love tennis. So, we would like to hear the last words from you to encourage entrepreneurs, families to how to start.
Well, the first thing is to dream. The first thing is vision.
Yes.
If you start there, then you can you have to work backwards. Because the thing is that when you have a goal, you have a dream and you have a vision, then you start going, okay, how do I achieve this vision? And then you go from there and then you go backwards and you say, okay, to achieve this, I need to have X, Y, Z. And then to have the X, Y, Z, I need X, Y, Z people.
True.
So you work backwards. But the most important thing is to dream.
Definitely. Is the business plan as important as dreaming?
I think the dream has to be realistic.
True.
You know,
Especially with the country you're living at.
Yes, but having said that, I had an unrealistic dream and I was able to achieve it. So I'm not the biggest ambassador of most realistic dreams in the world, but I feel that the bigger the dream, the harder you will work.
And the number one you will get.
And you will, and inshallah, you will become number one in what you do.
Of course,
you know, and it's not about becoming number one in the world. Even if you're number one, you know how happy we get when our kids get number one in their class, or if we have like nieces and nephews or ourselves, and they come from school, and we come from school and we say, we were number one in our class today, and we're like, oh my God, what an amazing achievement. So imagine trying to be the best at what you do in the entire planet.
True. Definitely.
You know, so it is very hard, but that cannot be your end goal, that if you're not number one, you're a failure. No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is to have a vision of anything that you want to take up or you want to build. You cannot build it without envisioning what you want to do, right? You have to have an end goal. Even when we make a chart or we make a tree, you sit with a life coach. He or she will first tell you, what is your goal? Why are you here?
Definitely.
So the most important thing is to have that. And that's why I said the first thing is to have a dream and a vision. Then you work backwards from there. And then you come to scratch and you say, okay, now how do I start? If this is where I want to get. You can't say, I'll start here and I'll see where I will get, right?
Definitely. So what we can conclude with is that with no dream, there is no vision.
No. There isn't.
Definitely. Sania Mirza, we were very happy to have you in this podcast. Thank you very much for your time and for your energy. And thank you also for most of the information and the final word that you gave us in this podcast. And hope to see you again achieving your goals, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah. Thank you so much.